What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hippie's Chopper Corner. Hadn't got to put a video out in a while. Had to go to Kansas City this weekend. Pretty good weekend from Friday to Sunday. I put about 1,400 miles on my road glide. Got my GoPro out. I was doing some filming with it when it still kind of confused me a little bit, but got the laptop, still got some hardware I got to download, so I'm still filming with my phone right now. What is all this racket going on over here? Wait a minute. Who is this dude? Oh, I bet a lot of y'all recognize that bike, don't you?
So I picked up.
I think that's that 1940 flathead that old Slick's got. Slickhead Custom Cycles. That's my dog up there. If y'all hadn't checked him out, go check him out at Slickhead Custom Cycles. So, where I left y'all last time, I pulled the electronic ignition out. I just am not happy with it. Can't get it clocked where I want it clocked at. Going back through all my wiring. Of course, I wired this bike myself. Pretty simple setup. Just a 2-position key. Power going from the battery to a breaker to the switch. Power coming out of the switch to a breaker. So I've got one breaker just for my switch, and I've got one breaker. Who is that busting in my shop? Well, that's Diesel. And I've got one breaker going to the headlight, tail light, and the coil. But I put the points ignition back in it. I can't find my wire for the points, so I've got to make another wire. I'm not going to bore y'all with that. Got to remount my coil, get a wire ran to it. I don't know if you can see up in there in that timing hole, but you can see I'm on my advanced timing mark, which is forward would be top dead center TDC mark. And then you can either, like I said, you take the plugs out, put it in 4 gear, you can turn the wheel, or if you got a kicker, you can kick it around. So I've got it on my advanced timing mark. I've got a makeshift timing light that I make. It'll just light up when I turn the points plate to where it fires, and I'll stop it just as the light starts to come on is where I'll lock it down at. What's this guy over here going on and on and on about, just babbling? Damn.
Tell me what.
Oh, that's still Slick. He's putting that bird deflector on there. Man, that guy just rambles. Nah, I'm kidding. Slick, I love you, man. You my bro. He and I'll do a collaboration someday, guys. You watch. Our genre is not that big. You know, there's maybe 20 channels out there doing older bikes. Some do this, some do that. I try to keep up with all of them. Got the motor back in this one again. As soon as I've got my funds built up, another week or two, I'm going to get the front end ordered. I got the front end that looks like a Harley front end, like this one right here. I got the I-beam style. I got it. I'm going to go with a 6 over, which that's what's on the pan head, but I think that's a moto iron, man. That's a $600-700 front end. Slick, you were asking me about my setup. It's basically the same setup as on the shovel head. I buy this anodized top clamp that comes with the risers already on it. It just slides down over your front end and you bolt it down. Set up for Springer bars. Those aren't Springer bars on that bike, but here, this is the top clamp you would normally get with one of those front ends. It's a top clamp like this right here. It just sets down on there, and you have a nut that goes on it. And then you can buy risers made specifically for a Springer. Slick was telling y'all about them. They've got a bolt that goes through it, locks down on it, so That's a set right there. I am thinking about running.
It's got the
Of course, I won't have this Super B on here. I'm gonna put a Super S on here, but Super Bs, they stick out too far, but that'll look good on a Super E, I think. I'm gonna stay with that seat right there. I'm cutting that sissy bar down. It's gonna be shorter. Probably gonna run some 16s on that one. But for today, I'm gonna get back on this one. See if I can get it running properly. I'd love to take it for a ride today. But Slick, this right here is for you, brother. See, I just bought this top clamp. And then I bought these. I just fell in love with these brass Flanders, dog bone style risers. And I just had an old piece of pipe I know it's actually an old set of handlebars I ran through there to lock my risers to. And I want to say those are just 1-inch Z-bars. And I cut like 2 inches off of them. They were really long. I think I cut 2 or 3 inches off them bars to shorten them down a little bit. But with that 2 under front end on it, I think it gives that bike a killer stance. So let me get back to work on this one. Get it running good. Hopefully in a week or two, I'll have some more parts to mock this one back up. My goal is to have this one running and riding, hopefully before the season dies on me. And then I'm gonna strip them both down at the same time. I know that's probably gonna be a headache. Powder coat the frames and get my painter, the guy that does that. Look at that, that is just some phenomenal flake on there, man. He's just a bang up painter, man. He's one of my brothers. Throw a wheel back on that roller so I can move it around. I've got an iron head project too. I'll probably pick it up in a couple of weeks. I got rid of that one CV750 I had in here. I'm gonna take this iron head. It's a 76. It is definitely, I don't use the term basket case. I use the term clapped out. One of my brothers, F-Bomb, coined that term on me. Before this shop became Hippie's Chopper Corner, this was Hippie's Speed Shop, and my motto back then was, it ain't much of a shop and you probably leave with more speed than what you came with. But he would say, man, Hippie will bring some clapped out motorcycles in here. And I got a few shorts on there that you'll see. I've got an old white FLT that I brought in here. It had sat for about 20 years. The compensator blew apart in it. It didn't have no primary. It didn't have push rods in it. The wiring was a mess. It didn't have an intake and carburetor on it. And I spent about a month on it. Had to put new starter, new clutches, new solenoid, primary, intake, carburetor, go through the wiring, got it running. Sold it. I sold the roller. I pulled the motor out, sold the roller, and then I found a blue 1982 FXR, which was the first year of the FXR shovel head. And that bike was just horrible when I got it. The man, it died. It sat under a tarp for about 20 years, had a lot of rust on it. I took my time going through it, got it running real good, sold it. But this bike right here, this is a complete ground up build. When I started on this bike here, I started with a motor. That was all I had sitting on my engine stand over there. And then I found that frame in southern Indiana. And then I bought the hardtail kit from V-Twin Replica. And then I just started getting parts and pieces and putting the bike together. I had that shifter handle knob for 2 or 3 years, found it at a flea market, and I thought one day that'll be a shifter handle. And have put this together just from nothing, man. So it's been a long, arduous task to do that. Now that bike right there, that was a running, riding motorcycle when I started with it. Y'all seen it in the videos. I kind of jumped the gun and got started on it because I didn't want to wait. I was ready to see what it was going to look like. But I've got parts for sale. If anybody's interested, hit me up in the comments. I've got a full primary electronic or electric start fender. That's an FLH style fender, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, that's the fender that was on it. all this stuff over here, man. The oil bag, battery box, split tanks. I've got an S&S Super B carburetor with the aluminum teardrop. I got the stock oil tank. That's just a spare transmission I got. I got a couple of sets of exhausts. If anybody's interested in that, any of the kickstand brackets, the forward controls, the shocks, because here at Hippie's Chopper Corner I don't do shocks. It's all hardtail kickstart motorcycles only. Now I don't have the luxury of being able to ride these bikes across the country because I only get so many vacation days. Oh, my GoPro's telling me something. I don't know what it's telling me. Hell, I still don't know how to operate it. It might be recording me now. Shit. I wished I could, and I've had that panhead in Georgia. I've had that panhead in Kentucky. I had it down in Florida for Bike Week a couple of years ago, riding it around Florida, putting it in chopper shows. That was a lot of fun. The chopper scene has definitely changed over the last 10 years. It's definitely changed. I'm not knocking anybody, but the chopper scene has really turned into a hipster scene, I guess. You know, it's not your traditional old bikers anymore. And that's cool, man. It's like Slick said in one of his videos, I don't care who you are or what you're riding, man. If you're riding, and that's cool. But the chopper scene has definitely changed, especially on the West Coast. Now out here, closer to the East Coast and in the South, you know, you got the Smoky Mountain Burnout. You got the GGR7, Georgia Grundle Run, coming up in a couple of weeks. That's a cool chopper camp out, man. It's really laid back. It's in the woods. Everybody's camping out. It's a big party. Not my scene anymore. I don't drink and do drugs. Not knocking anybody that does. I used to. I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, but I still go to places like that. But anyway, just some little bit of content. We'll go back over here and we'll see what Slick's doing one more time before we go say goodbye. Oh, he's going into one of his mini shops. This guy's got more shops than anybody. Got more bikes than anybody too. So y'all go check him out. Slickhead Custom Cycles. All right, tune in next time and maybe we'll get a little bit of work done. Hippie's Chopper Corner.